Aaron and Natasha. News and traffic, Mulcair and Mennie. It's all here in one big show. Montreal Now on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
That is James Mennie. He is over at the Montreal Gazette. And Jim, we might as well start with the news that affects you directly over at the Gazette. So we heard from Mitch Garber. We heard from Andrew McLeod. In fact, take a listen to this. This is Andrew McLeod.
Mitch sent me an email 2 weeks ago asking to speak. I set up a time to speak with him, and then he canceled the meeting. So I don't entirely understand what his objectives are. What I could tell you, and I'll be very transparent, it is very complicated for us to look at selling one institution in our network.
Now, I will say that after that, because Mitch had been gone by then, he wrote me back, having heard that, saying he canceled the meeting because he spoke to the chairman of the board, to Paul Godfrey, and made his offer to him verbally. That's why apparently Andrew McLeod said he canceled the meeting. He was talking to somebody else, apparently even higher up than he was. So first of all, tell me what you think of what you heard.
Well, listen, I'm a post-media employee. So I'm going to have to choose my words carefully here, but there's only two things I can say. First, concerning the announcement of this community council, I saw nothing in that announcement that suggests that the job cuts that have been announced for this week will not go through. And I got to tell you, as an employee of the Gazette, and as a union member and as a colleague, I will presume to speak for the rest of us by saying that's our only concern right now this week. I mean, the future, whatever, is something that will be decided, not by us, but certainly our concern right now is the present and the fact that anywhere from 7 to 10 of our colleagues are going to lose their jobs. In an economic context where finding another job is not going to be that easy, certainly not in this land. The only other thing I can tell you, guys, and I really want this to be understood by our listeners. If the Gazette's still around by April 18th of this year, I will have been with the Gazette for 40 years, okay? So I will presume upon that flight time to allow me to say this. It doesn't matter if Mitch Garber runs the Gazette or Post Media runs the Gazette. If the Gazette's going to have a future, it's going to depend on the people who are listening to us right now. It's going to depend on Montrealers. Montrealers have got to step up and say, it's great to talk about an institution. It's great to talk about journalism. It's great to talk about how you love to curl up on the weekend with a newspaper. My advice to you is, if you feel that strongly about it, go out and buy one. Because at bottom, this is what this is all about. I have to tell you, with the time I have at the Gazette, I've seen a lot of changes, and there was at one point not that long ago, maybe 10 years ago, there were 200 people in my department, editorial.
Wow.
We're now down to 40, and somehow 40 has become a number that people can say that out loud as if it's normal. It's not normal, but that's where we are. But if that situation is going to change, as I say, it doesn't matter who's in charge. It's going to be up to Montrealers to determine whether they want to have a Montreal Gazette. I really can't say more than that.
Yeah, no, I understood.
I will tell you that Andrew McLeod did say that they are re-examining those numbers, because we asked, why is it 25% here, 11% elsewhere? And he said they are re-examining it, and that the newsroom at the Gazette will still remain the third largest in the country.
Well, as I say, I don't know more than you guys do, because I saw this announcement. There's no mention of those job cuts being rescinded, and as far as I know, those job cuts will have been done by this coming Monday.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can't say, because I asked that question directly, he said they would look at it. That's not a guarantee of anything. He didn't say there would be or wouldn't be. He just said it's kind of under review, and they might do something. But again, Jim, we've sort of heard these things in the past, so I'm not that optimistic either. And I'm glad you brought up this idea of that council that's being set up. When you look at the way it was spelled out, all it seems like it's a bunch of people who care about the Gazette, who they help. And I think Mitch Garber put it correctly, who will just go out and tell their friends, hey, you know what, get your buddies to buy some advertising. That's how we can save the paper. I'm not sure what kind of a long-time plan that is.
Well, neither do I. And, it's not for me to publicly discuss post-media policy. But what I can tell you is that as someone who has been with, this institution, and you can put air quotes on that or not, in the end, it's going to depend on the people who are listening to us right now. All the rest of it is sort of like corporate whatever. But you've got to understand that if you don't have if you don't have readers, if you don't have an audience, if you don't have users, same thing with my other line of work. We don't have listeners. We're not going to be in business for too long.
Fair enough.
And honestly, I know there is a sense of identity that is attached to CJAD. I know that from the first day I walked into CJAD, my God, it was like almost 15 years ago, I felt I was a part of something bigger than the tiny little studio that I was inside of on 4th Street. But I also know that the Gazette enjoyed that iteration at one point. But the only reason we can get back to that is if the people who are listening to us, if Anglo-Montreal, Franco-Montreal, whatever, if we don't get a bigger audience, it's not going to be anybody's fault. It's going to be inevitable. We see it everywhere, not just with newspapers, but with all media.
Yeah.
Audiences are changing. Consumption habits are changing. And unfortunately, one of the constants is your audience, if I can still even use that word in 2023, is diminishing. And the trick now is to even hang on to what you've got, much less expand it. But honestly, if you can get all the people you want coming on the show saying, save the Gazette, do this. All I can tell you, folks, if you care about the Montreal Gazette, you care about local journalism, go out and buy some, please.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jim, let's hope there's some good news to come. As I said, it seems like a bit of a superficial step here to announce this council. It sounds good to say, oh, look, a council. I'm hoping something actually comes of that. But as you said, it's up to Montrealers more than anyone else to help save this newspaper.
It's the Montreal Gazette.
Yeah.
It's not the Montreal Community Group Gazette.
No.
It's not the Montreal Op-Ed Gazette. I mean, it's something we have to be able to get up every morning. Well, I'm sorry, I'm dating myself, but now we have 24/7. We have to be able to put something on our site or on our newspaper that says this is why you need to know this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for us to do that more effectively, in order for us to do that more broadly, in order for us to do that more satisfyingly, and in order for us to do that in a work situation which is more secure, I don't need some blessing from an entrepreneur or from an executive. I need the confidence and the support of Montrealers.
Couldn't have said it any better. James, thank you so much. And I realize obviously you're limited by what you can say because you are in fact an employee there, but I thank you so much for being with us today. Appreciate it.
Adamant.